Story 1. My dad does not handle death well. I know everyone grieves differently, but he is the type who refuses to acknowledge that death is an option for loved ones and loses it for a very long time when someone dies. I have never seen anyone take death as hard as him. Next to him is my husband. I have faith that eventually he will get it together for our children. Story 2. My coworkers do not exactly like me, but if I died, they would have to do the work themselves before taking credit for it. Story 3. My dad, for sure. My husband is next. My children are very young. They would miss me, but they are too young to understand death. Story 4. My mom. I think I am her best friend. I know for sure I am her favorite of the three of us. It is pretty obvious, honestly. She got major emptiness syndrome when I moved out, but breathed a sigh of relief when my older brother moved out, and dreams of my younger sibling moving out. Me, though? She happily sees me any chance she gets and even asks me to stay over. I think it would break her if I died. Story 5. I think it would be my dad. No matter how old I get or how many times I make mistakes, I know I am still his baby in his eyes. Story 6. My parents have already lost 2 children. Losing a third would destroy them, I think. My half-siblings would be a close second. Story 7. My mom is truly a blessing in this world. Always cherish those who do the most for you. You will never know when they will be gone. Story 8. My husband and I have many differences, but he truly loves me. He would have a hard time for sure. He even has me accompany him on his business trips, so we are not separated for too long. That being said, there is nothing like losing a parent. My 22-year-old daughter and I have always been very close. She has schizophrenia and a heart condition and still relies heavily on her father and me. I know my death would be heartbreaking for my husband, but I worry that it would actually break her. To be honest, I feel the same way about her. I love my husband so much, and I would be devastated if something happened to him. But if something happened to her, I would not be able to live either. Please do not tell her I said this. She would think it is lame, but she does not use Reddit. Story 9. My sister is much older than me, but I think it would break her heart. My boyfriend really loves me. Story 10. My mother would be distraught. My family has been lucky. We have only lost one person somewhat close to us early. Knock on wood. He was already 50 and that was young. Story 11. My son. I fear how it will affect him. I am doing everything I can to last however long it takes for him to reach a good place in life, with the right people to help him get through it. If I have to live to 120, I will find a way. I am 60 now, and honestly, for myself, tomorrow would not be too soon. But I helped bring him into this world, and I refuse to abandon him. Story 12. I would say it would initially affect my children the most, but my sister would have the longest-lasting mourning period. We have been through a lot of trauma together that most people cannot even begin to understand, so losing that one person who truly understands you and what you have been through is very difficult. I am tearing up while writing this. I was putting myself in her shoes. I would definitely be the one to mourn her the most as well. Story 13. My mom. I am struggling with depression at the moment, and the only thing that stops me from hurting myself is that my mother has nightmares about me cutting myself all over my body. She is very afraid to lose me, and she tells me how much she loves me every day. I am truly lucky to have her. Story 14. My dad is named after his father and his older brother, both in first and middle names. When my grandfather died, he was the only one of his siblings who did not ride in the limousine. He walked back from the grave because he wanted to be by himself. Story 15. My daughter and I are not codependent. We simply understand each other. My father and I have always been close as well. Knowing this keeps me alive. Story 16. No one. For I have no family or friends. I will probably end up in an unmarked grave for all I know. In the end, there will not be any sadness. No one cares if I am alive, so why would anyone care when I am dead and gone? Story 17. If I were to die tomorrow, the only one who would miss me is the dog, since I am the only person who willingly walks her. Story 18. I hope all the people I care about accept my death as just what happens next, an inevitability like the force of gravity. Are you sad about the force of gravity working? No, of course not. Story 19. Although my mother has been my role model and my rock, I think it would affect my father the most. Out of his children, I am the one who always tried to please him and be around him the most. I am also the one he mostly relates to. Story 20. My child is literally my best friend. We talk about music all the time. I am trying to teach her how to play the bass. Story 21. Probably my mother. I'm closer to my dad. And she knows it, but she really doesn't handle the idea of death well. She cried for almost 2 hours because she was close to running over a dog. Notable others would be my cat. I'm the only person he actually enjoys, my two close friends Trey and Anthony, and my best friend Rihanna. She also doesn't handle death well, but I'm closer to her than most of my family. Clarification. I am a guy, and I know that having a girl as a best friend is unusual, especially without it turning into feelings of romance. It helps that she's taller than me. Story 22. Not a soul. Everyone would simply know that being alive was no longer an option for me. And that is okay. Story 23. I'd say my husband because the time I almost died was the only time I saw him cry. At least he would understand what happened. My dogs never would. They would always be waiting at the door for me to come home. Story 24. My mother and father. Their reactions after I was sent home from college because the school found I was going to commit suicide tell me everything I needed to know. Story 25. Kids, though I hope they can move on. Mom and dad might not be able to move on, but the children would keep them pretty busy. Story 26. Definitely my mom. A few days ago, I asked her if her husband was her best friend. She laughed and said, I love him, but you are my best friend. Story 27. 100% mom. She carried me and watched me grow every single day. Seeing me die would destroy her. I love my mom. Story 28. My dog. He would be wondering where his treats are, when his next bathroom break will be, who will take him on his walks, and give him the love he deserves. Story 29. This is a morbid question, but a good one. I think my sister and my dog. My father would not care as much. He is a narcissist and cannot see anything beyond his own problems. My mother is gone. So yes, my sister and my dog. Story 30. There is not a single person who would bother showing up for my funeral. They are all either deceased or might as well be. Story 31. My cat would be pretty upset. Then again, he would probably eat me, so forget him. Other than that, I have helped quite a few people live to see another day. But they would probably just say, well, that sucks, and go about their day. Story 32. I am hoping no one mourns me. I just hope they rename a road after me at the summer camp where I have worked for 20 years. Story 33. My daughter. This is just based on how devastated I was when my mother died. My daughter and I are close in the same way I was with my mother. Story 34. I think my wife would be fine. I have so much cancer and heart disease in my family that she is mentally prepared. My little girls would be crushed though. We are very close, and because of working from home and COVID-19, I feel I am much closer to them than my father ever was during my childhood. Story 35. This may sound strange, but it would be my ex-girlfriend. Even though we are no longer together, we have a strong, caring relationship. We still help each other through hard times, and some days we are the only ones who truly understand each other. Story 36. My mom and dad, my siblings, and my nieces would suffer greatly if I died. I am the glue of the family. I keep everyone together, just a light in a dark world. Story 37. Definitely my parents and brothers. I think my older brother, the middle child, would regret it so much. We didn't get along much as we got older because our beliefs were very opposite. I still think he is a terrible person, but I know he loves me, so I think he would regret treating me poorly a lot of the time. Story 38. I wanted to give a snarky answer like the government since they are not going to get their student loan money back. But I will say either of my parents. I wish nobody would though. Go eat something delicious and reminisce about the good times we had. Story 39. I once requested that I would not have a regular funeral service if I died, because I would not want people who disliked me to come to my mother or any loved ones and fake tears or say nice things they did not mean. If that were to happen, maybe some would mourn in secret or away from the absent service. Maybe no one would, except the few who truly knew me. I would not want anyone to mourn, friend or foe. I would be at peace and want my loved ones to know I loved them on earth until my last moment, until God took me back. Story 40. I am the only person in my building who pays rent on time. My landlord is the only person I speak to. I have no family or friends and have never been on a date. There will not even be a funeral. Story 41. My cat. Just before he eats me. I think my 2 adult children would. Considering my death would be a major disruption in their lives, livelihood, and lifestyle. Not kidding, everything would change for them and not all for the better. The extended family would have to come together to find a replacement for me. Someone who comes in once a week, pays the bills, arranges house and car maintenance, balances the books, and keeps things running smoothly. My children have the money and income, but they are both incapable of managing the day-to-day tasks of maintaining a household. One has an intelligence quotient of 67, and the other is moderately autistic. Both are on a lifetime of disability. They need a seneschal, not a king. Story 42. My dad and I are close. I doubt anyone else would truly care if I died. They might say they do, but they are not around now, so nobody really cares. Story 43. As much as I would not want her to, my daughter is okay with it. She said she is going to put me in a ginger ale can and place it on the mantle. Story 44. My youngest daughter. My older children are not as attached because their mothers left and took them very early, so they have few formative memories of me. However, my youngest is my rock and my world, just as I am hers. Story 45. My family and dogs, but I think my dogs more because I am the only one who tends to and cares for 8 dogs. I am not saying my family will not miss me as much either, but I am literally the only person my dogs know who gives them love, care, and attention to the fullest every day. Story 46. Probably my mother. My children are too young to truly grieve, and I think my husband is likely already imagining a life insurance payout. Story 47. People actively want me dead. That is one of my motivators to stay alive out of spite. Forget them all. Story 48. My cat has separation issues and needs to be close to me all the time. I genuinely believe she would suffer greatly if anything happened to me. Story 49. I think it would be my oldest brother and my best friend. My wife will, along with my children. My brother and best friend will take it the worst. Story 50. My mother, if I go before her, my youngest daughter, and my youngest son. They lost their father 6 years ago, and I have basically been a single mother since I had children. Story 51. My girlfriend and my mother. I will be moving 2 hours away to study at a university outside our city very soon. They are both already devastated. If they cannot handle a 2-hour car or 1-hour train journey, I dread to think how they would react to me dying. Story 52. I want to say my husband and children, but my mother has already lost a child, and I think another loss might be too much for her to handle. Story 53. My parents, my children, and my partner will be sad, but he does not know how to deal with death and will probably just carry on. Story 54. Actually, mourning would be my best friend of 25 years. My 93-year-old mom, but I don't think she would actually mourn me, rather mourn the loss of everything I do to take care of her. Story 55. Mothers always mourn the hardest because you grew in their womb. They were the first to know you. A mourning mother experiences a level of grief that we simply will not understand unless it happens to us. Story 56. My wife and my son. I do not actually expect anyone else to mourn me because anxiety and depression make relationships with others difficult. Story 57. My dad, as emotionally unavailable as he is, cried every night and refused to sleep when I tried to harm myself. I know it would tear him apart. Story 58. Depends. If I were to die now, probably my parents, my sister, or my partners. After my mom and dad pass, it would be either my sister or my partners. Story 59. my boyfriend, but I really hope he does not outlive me. He is a widower, and I think going through it again would devastate him. Story 60. My cat. She pines when I am at work. My family would be sad but ultimately move on. My cat would mourn and not understand why I never came back. Story 61. My wife. Losing your parents is tough, but it is something we begin to psychologically adjust to before it happens, as long as it is not sudden. Losing a spouse is almost always horrific. Story 62. My 9-year-old dog, who meant the world to me, passed last April, shattering my world, my mom's, and everyone's. If I were to pass first, she would mourn me nonstop. We always shared a special bond that I cannot even begin to describe. I am in my 40s, but in a way, I am glad she went first because I do not want her to feel the tremendous pain I felt and am still feeling for her. As I said, I am still younger, though not a spring chicken. Besides my sister and father, my mother would probably mourn me the most. We always had a wonderful relationship. A woman I like would probably mourn me as well. Unfortunately, she moved, but I always considered us good friends. The method work. We are not super close, but I think we have a good friendship. I just wish it were more. I have always had strong feelings for her. Story 63. My wife. I love her to death, but I am not sure she could operate without me, especially since she would not have anyone to take care of the children. Story 64. If it happened today, probably my oldest daughter. The younger one would not remember much of me. I am sure my wife would remarry. My parents would mourn but continue. However, my oldest daughter and I have a really close bond, and I do not think she would ever get over losing me. Story 65. I am relieved that nobody will mourn my death. I am okay with that. Why would I want someone to mourn me? Story 66. My little sister. I am 27. She is 14. And she has been my best friend since the day she was born. I am her go-to for everything. She would be crushed. Story 67. Probably my sister's pit bull, an 11-year-old male weighing 88 pounds, has shown me unbelievable amounts of love every time we've hung out. My sister would be sad for sure. We're pretty good friends and usually hang out once a week. Depending on how I die, it may or may not have been a matter of time. But the dog wouldn't understand why Uncle Joey stopped showing up to play, wrestle, bring him snacks we can share like soft pretzels or cantaloupe. He loves cantaloupe. Take long walks and help him burn off energy with some light roughhousing. He's a nut and listens to every command I give to a strict degree. When we hang out, we always have fun and are inseparable the whole time. Story 68. My mother. Her mother had to bury 2 of her children before she passed. She told me the pain will kill you. Story 69. My mom. I tried to take my life several times over the course of a couple of years, and the only person who was by my side was my mother. She got me therapy and help for my eating disorder. I was sure my mom loved me. She told me I saved her life by existing. She was suicidal when she found out she was pregnant. But my best friend of 12 years took his life in December of 2023. I saw his family, his 10 siblings, people I had only seen at his siblings' weddings, people I had never met, his closest in age brother who he had been fighting with right before he died, and his dad, whose only emotion I had ever seen was anger, now in absolute despair. But the worst was his mom. She couldn't look at anyone. She gave hugs like she was holding on to the person for her life. She sat in the corner numbed out, silently sobbing, and could only say, "Thank you for being here for us. I have been clean from self-inflicted harm for 482 days because I couldn't bear to put anyone through the pain I saw his family in, the pain I was in. I can't let my mom feel that pain. It hurt me and I was only a friend. I can't imagine the pain of a mother." Story 70. It would not even be noticed, which, while sad, also has the silver lining of making it easier to die, I think. Story 71. My dad is very sentimental. Even when he was younger, he took the deaths of his parents very hard. Now, he is losing close friends regularly, and he feels it intensely each time. He is 81 years old, and while his health is decent, he is rapidly slowing down. If I died tomorrow, I do not think he would ever recover. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.